Alright lads, so Bleach Soul Resist has been available for a few days now, and with that I've been able to get to level 38. And thus far, I think it's safe to assume that I've unlocked most of the game's content, especially permanent game modes that you do want to do on a daily or weekly basis. And if you've yet to reach this level or unlocked all forms of content, this is going to be a good video for you just to understand what you are walking into and again, what exactly should you be doing. So quickly just breaking down every single game mode. First up, of course, we do have the story mode. This, of course, is important to do whenever you do get the opportunity to do it. The chapters are gated by your account level, so there are going to be a few times where you have to step back away from the game and wait until you can reach a certain level by doing your dailies. But story mode as a whole does give access to a lot of pretty good resources. Right now, for example, when you do achieve certain milestones in terms of stars, you can get access to corridor keys. We'll talk about that in a second. And one of the main rewards that you do see right now in Soul Resonance is you can get upwards to 300 summons, 200 character summon tickets, 100 weapon summon tickets just by playing through the story modes. Or playing throughout the entire game, but a lot of it does come through story modes. It's basically a free pity on the character and weapon banner. Now, story mode does have access to normal, hard, and also extreme content, but they work a little bit different. Extreme in particular is strictly boss fights. Normally it's around 4 or so missions. They of course do come with increased difficulty, but they do offer pretty much the same rewards, especially if you can freestyle all quests. Now, once you do reach level 30, you will then unlock the adventure mode, which is actually a really cool extra piece of content that you can do. In a way, it's very similar to story modes. With extra side content, the quests themselves do work a lot different. I'm actually enjoying my playthrough through the adventure mode more than I am on the normal mode, because every quest is almost different. And if you actually get to play this mode, you will understand what I mean. Alongside that, you do also unlock extra systems like the bond system and also the play system for extra rewards. Now, when it comes to the supply section, this is where you can get items to power up your characters. EXP, gold, weapon EXP, skill materials. You then, of course, have the character ascension, weapon ascension, and also stamp ascension. Now, quick personal recommendation is when you do get the opportunity, make sure you do clear each one when you have the available stamina. You might be wondering what exactly should you be spending your stamina on, especially if you are reaching a point in the story where you need to level up 2 more times. Well, if you don't currently have anything to work on right now, let's say you've already maxed all your characters, you might as well go ahead and clear every single quest when possible. One, just to get the 20 spiritual jades for clearing the quest for the first time, but it also means that in the future, whenever you do need to farm a particular item, you can farm the item at the max level, so you can therefore get the most rewards. If for some reason right now I need to get EXP, then I'll just come here and press the raid button where you then sweep it. Especially if you are in late game where you maybe need a certain item, you don't have too much stamina, you want to spend it elsewhere on more important matters. Let's say you're level 60, it would kind of suck having to go through all these quests when you need the purple ones in particular. So definitely do each quest individually when they are available just to get the spirit jades, and it means you don't have to, mass play all of these when you actually need a particular rarer item. Next up, of course, then we have the trials. First up, we have Hollow Elimination. This game mode is designed for you to farm the items where you need to level up passives. Personally, I've dumped a lot of stamina into this quest. Right now, my goal, especially long term, is to max every single character. SSRs have access to 3 passives, SRs have access to 2 passives, so I do know I need to farm a lot of these. So I've dumped almost 500 plus stamina into this game mode. Personally, you don't need to do that. Personally, I did, because I'm trying to think long term. But essentially, the way this game mode does work is that you just pick the enemy that you want to fight against. And this can be somewhat important, besides the fact that the enemy that you do pick determines the drop that you do get. With the idea of clearing as fast as possible, fight the enemies that you are more comfortable with. So me, for example, I do like fighting Shrieker, Fishbone D, and also Acid Y because I'm more comfortable fighting them, especially when it comes to those parry timings where you can then get more damage and break their guards. Similar to the supply section, when you do get access to the new difficulty, make sure you do it right away, so you don't need to do it later. Now, Stamp Corridor we already spoke about in a previous video. This is where you are going to be able to get your core stamps. To get stamina for this game mode, you do get 5 a week, and of course you can pay for more, but you do get these corridor keys by playing through the story mode. This event is something that you do want to play a lot of times to get access to the SSR weapon stamps, a free-to-play way to make your characters better. Then of course we have Realm of Mutation. You do get 3 runs a day. You get 2 free daily attempts a day, so make sure you go ahead and do that. Unfortunately, you don't get XP for your account level by doing those 2 daily attempts. but it's definitely worth doing. You're wasting stamina, basically, by not doing this daily. And this is where you are going to get your stamp sets to make your characters more powerful. Can't emphasize enough how good the 2 free daily attempts are, because it means that you can slowly build up your stamp sets while also farming and spending stamina elsewhere. Now, one of the last trial quests you are going to lock is the Battle Rewind. This is a weekly boss fight where you get to fight against Kisuke and also Aizen. You can, of course, change the difficulty when available, and I'm sure they will add more boss fights in the future. Kisuke encourages you to bring Slash-type units, and then Aizen encourages you to bring Frost-type units. This is going to be, again, an extra way to get stamp sets, but also where you are going to come across the Stamp Essence to level up your stamps. Also a way to get Koban, an item that you can use in an exchange shop, and also once more, a more reliable way to get corridor keys. My recommendation with this, since it is available twice a week for each individual boss, only do this at the end of the week. You don't need to do this right now. It's Monday, reset just happened. Even though it's tempting, it's better to wait till the end of the week in case you do unlock the later levels. So right now, for example, in my case, I could do it right now, but I am going to get the next difficulty, difficulty 2, where I get better rewards. In this case, access to SSR. Stamp sets at level 40, only 2 levels away. So save this till Sunday, because you never know how far you are going to progress, what level you are going to get to. In the case for difficulty 3, it is at level 50, and for all I know, I might reach that by the end of next week. So even when I do unlock difficulty 2, I will not be doing it until Sunday, if I can unlock the next difficulty or not. That's pretty much it for the trial section. Now let's have a look at the challenge section, and there's kind of a lot to go over here. So first up, we have Unknown Avenger. This is something that you also do want to do weekly. It resets weekly, and with that you can get a bunch of extra rewards. So firstly, it does have an exchange shop where you can pick up the weapon stamp for every SR character, and you also can get other items like power-up materials for your characters, weapons, and also stamps. You also, of course, can get summon tickets, so make sure you do buy those when they are available. That's 2 extra 4 summon tickets for the most part every single week. Now, the way this game mode does work is that it is a roguelike game mode. When you start the quest, you're going to be going room to room, battling harder enemies. And at the end of each room, you do get the opportunity to pick up a buff for your characters. There are multiple difficulties here. Once more, you do want to do ones when they are available, because you do get a summon ticket for the first time you do clear it. I would say do the hardest one possible, because it does give you more rewards. So right now, for example, this one that I have access to gives me 1,000 of these particular items, and you do want to try and go for 2,000 per week. After a while, especially once I do get access to this one, it will be something you only have to do once a week. So this game mode does become a lot less tedious in a way, because you only have to do it once a week, where right now, if you're at early game status, you might need to do it 4 times to reach the 2,000, milestone rewards. As you continuously play through this game mode, you will also get this currency to power up your characters even more by unlocking extra buffs like 4% more slash damage for every character. This is pretty much all the buffs that you can get that I have right now, and this does add up over time, especially at late game. And important to note, in case it isn't clear, this is only for this specific game mode, not everywhere in the game. Now, the weekly 2,000 limit also does give you rewards. Right now, I'm currently level 15, and the max level is going to be 50, where you can get extra spiritual jades and also summon tickets. Now, when you do enter an operation, you have to pick 3 characters and stick with those 3 characters. You then get the opportunity to pick a squad. My personal recommendation is Crit Squad with Kenpachi. Ultimately, pick the one that you want depending on your needs. In this case, if you need heals, for example, if you find your characters dying, you can do enough damage, but maybe you're not surviving enough. In that case, you then want to likely pick up the Retsu squad buff, where after you do receive 4 squad 4 cards, you do unlock the extra Coop skill where you can heal your allies. Co-op skills are extra attacks that you can use in this game mode, so depending on the squad that you do pick, you do want to make sure you are picking them so you can get access to the co-op skill. So again, for me, as an example, I do pick Crit. Since I am using Ichigo, I assume most people are using BANKAI Ichigo. Crit rate and crit damage is overall good buffs to pick up. So whenever you do get the option to pick up a particular buff, I believe they are called secrets in this game, you can read them if you want to see the exact buffs you do get. And you might want to, pick certain secrets, as they call it, based on what you need in that particular situation. But if you want to just go for it mindlessly, whenever you see Squad 11, if you are going a Squad 11 build, always pick that card. That's pretty much what I've been doing, and I've been able to clear everyone with pretty much ease thus far. But I would say depending on the character, at least long term that you are using will be the one that you want to pick. So Aizen, for example, grants damage resistance, increases the spiritual pressure reduction rate. Byakuya gives you more ultimate power based on your combo count, but I think the one most people should be using is Kenpachi for the extra crit rate and crit damage, and a pretty decent damage attack with his combo skill. So this is something that you want to do weekly, just more so to get that 2,000 weekly milestone. And like I said, late game, that means you only have to do it once a week, so it does become a lot less tedious if you don't fully like this game mode. After that, we then have the Trial Tower. So this is actually a really cool late game content that you can do right now, but this game mode might not look exactly like this when you first start it. At first, there'll be 5 bosses for you to beat. Once you do beat them, you then unlock individual tower modes. In particular for each typing, Slash, Strike, Spirit, and also Thrust. And this is why you kind of want to get TOSHIRO, because he is going to make this game mode a lot easier. But what you'll see here is that one of the requirements of pretty much every single quest, especially as you progress through Trial 1 to 15, is that characters that aren't Spirit type in the Spirit Tower, I guess we can call it, does take 80% less damage. So right now, you probably can brute force your way through most of them, at least early levels with just maybe your main team. But the idea, late game, once you do progress through Tower 10 to 15, you are going to strictly want to use teams of those typings. So Slash type should be relatively easy. Strike, of course, is going to want to have Yoruichi and Sergeant. Thrust is going to want to have Kaname and Osikaku. And then Thrust, oh sorry, they actually, I think there's a typo here. They should be switched around. Spirit, the blue color, is going to want to have TOSHIRO. If you have TOSHIRO, this tower is going to be a lot easier in the future. But there are only 4 typings for the record, so when we do get multiple characters released in the future, we are getting a new character every 2 weeks. Eventually, there will be a lot of SSRs to summon for. Plenty of opportunities to get a Strike, Spirit, Thrust, and also Slash unit. But with this, you are also once more just getting this currency for the exchange shop, and you're also going to be getting these fragmented items for you to craft specific 4 to 5 star stamp sets. And also summon tickets too. You can get that through this game mode. Now, Cooperative Campaign is a boss type event where you get to play with other players. It will be you and 2 other players. There are multiple rounds in a week, by the way, so it is another week-long event, but I'm pretty sure it does reset every 2 days. Well, right now we are currently in the training phase, so you actually can't challenge it, I believe, till the end of the week. You don't need to participate in the training phase. But this is pretty much a ranking event where your main goal is to try and get as high as you can just to get extra rewards. Fortunately, the rewards, even though it is a ranking event, doesn't seem super strict. So, for example, if you do get the top 1 to 100, you do get 100 spiritual jades per week. That's an extra 400 in a month, on top of all the other things that you can do. But if you don't get top 100 and you're top 20%, you know, you're only getting 95. That's 5 less. That's still really good. Even if you're top 80, let's say you're a new player, you can't get too far. Let's say you're the top 99.9%. You're only missing out on 80 spirit jades a week. So you shouldn't feel too bad about this. If players can clear, or if other players have an advantage over you because they maybe spent money, maybe their account has been created longer, you're not being punished all that much. Now, of course, with the way Bleach Soul Resonance does work, even though it is a co-op game mode, you are pretty much playing by yourself, fighting against Yami. It's a pretty fun event. I think the Yami boss fight's pretty cool. But all 3 players are playing at the exact same time, doing damage to Yami at the exact same time. And it is encouraged to play with a guild since you do get more guild buffs. And then Frenzy Feast is another weekly event. It's another boss type event. Does change from week to week. So right now, for example, we can go against Byakuya and also Mayuri. I believe previously, yesterday, it was Ikaku and also Kenpachi. So this will change from week to week where the recommended type will also be different. So once more, very important, you can build teams of every typing: Strike, Slash, Thrust, and also Spirit. Now, one cool feature about a lot of game modes, to be fair, is that you actually can just see the teams people are using to score this particular score, at least in your particular server, and then you can also view their replay to see if you can potentially replicate their run. You do get 5 attempts a day, so definitely make sure you can do them when you can. You don't need to save until the end of the week. It's actually better you do it throughout the week. And the way this game mode rewards do work is that you are based on how much score you can get, and based on your score, you can get upwards to 450 spirit jades every single week, which means 1,800 a month. That's basically a multi a month just from this game mode, and that's something you want to do again weekly. Right now, not everyone is going to be able to get 50,000 total scores, so we can't entirely get, you know, every single reward, but that is something that you are going to be constantly working towards and seeing the progression of your account and team as you do get a higher score. So you'll get a good sense of accomplishment when you eventually can get that 50,000 score. There is a ranking system in this, but again, it doesn't really matter all too much. And with that said, that's basically every single game mode broken down in Bleach Soul Resonance. I think there's actually a decent amount to do for the start of the game. Personally, my favorite right now is, I do like Unknown Adventure. I've seen game modes like this in other games, and they do get a bit tedious after a while. And while I haven't played too much of Trial Tower, I do like the idea of it. I'm liking the Cooperative campaign, and I am also liking the Frenzy Feast too. So, some pretty cool stuff. There's definitely more coming our way too as the game does progress. It's still new. But if you were curious on how to get Spirit Jades on a month-to-month basis, right, on a more consistent basis, it is going to be through these particular game modes, the challenge section. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Take care and peace.